So I was sitting in church yesterday, and God was speaking to me. He said, "It's time to rebuild the house." Mark 3:25. If a house is divided against itself, the house cannot stand. 2 Timothy 2:3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. Verse 4, Amplified Version. No soldier in active service gets entangled in the ordinary business affairs of civilian life. He avoids them so he may please the one who enlisted him to serve. King James Version, chosen him. See, God chose you to be in this family. And there are certain things that we involve ourselves with that we don't really need to. Like I tell people all the time, the best response to nonsense is no response at all. God even talks about, having an argument with people that don't even make no sense. Some people already have their own opinion formed or whatever the case may be. But why do we sit there and just, be entangled, as it says, with a lot of that stuff that people got to say? Some people got a problem with the new you, not the old you. See, they don't like the fact that you changed, but we talking about rebuilding the house. And so we look at one of those housing projects that we see on TV all the time, and they got to tear down the walls. So what if God was trying to tear down the walls of depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, all of that pain? That's why God wants us to forgive one another. And yeah, you're not going to forget, but you know what? You can live past that, because God wants to reconstruct that house and make it look brand new, and that's what God wants to do. Verse 5, but this is a message. 2 Timothy 2:5. An athlete who refuses to play by the rules will never get anywhere. It's the diligent farmer who gets the produce. Think it over. God will make it plain. Imagine you're a football player and you're out there playing without spikes. No matter how talented you are, no matter how good you are, it's going to be hard to play. And so we got to play by the rules, and we got to understand we got to put on the armor at all times. Psalms 30:5. For his anger is but for a moment. His favor is for a lifetime. Weeping may endure for a night, but a shout of joy comes in the morning. Or we know King James Version, joy comes in the morning. But when is that morning? There are places in the world, I think it's like Alaska, where it's like 30 days of daytime and 30 nights, like 30 days of straight night. And that's what happens in some of our life, when people leave this earth and things like that. God wants us to appreciate the moments that we had with them. And yeah, it takes a lot from our mind. That's why we have to get in this word. That's why we have to read. That's why we got to be around certain people. 1 Corinthians 30:15, I believe it talks about 15 and 33. It talks about do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good character or good morals. We got to be around the right people, because hanging around the right people allows us to really enjoy life. Or we can hang around people that complain all the time and complain, and then it gets into our spirit, and then we start to act like that. We talked about yesterday how we talking about feeling the emotions and stuff like that. That's why God say don't hang around people like that too long. And some seasons, think about it, some seasons go longer than others, right? So like, how winter came and then winter left, and then all of a sudden spring came, but it was still snowing. That's how some people are. It's time to remove some people from our lives. And we got to understand, you know what I'm saying? It's not saying that they're a bad person. It's just saying where you're going, a lot of people don't want to go. And you don't have to deal with a lot of, drama and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? That's why Jesus, removed himself. That's why I said they don't receive your word, keep the dust off your feet and keep it moving. But we also got to pray for those individuals. So, it's time to rebuild the house. And that's what God wants to do. God wants to rebuild the house because there are things inside of us that we're still holding on to, past hurt, things that have done to us, even people, things that have done in relationships. And this is why people really can't enjoy new relationships, because they're still involved in past hurts, and they're making the person that they're with, pay for somebody else's past mistakes, because it was never dealt with properly. Those walls were never taken down. Those walls were never broken and then put back up. And that's what God wants to do, so we can really have joy, because some of us wants to have joy. We just don't know how. So much of happening in our mind. That's why we got to read the word, because the more time that we spend with God and read and stuff like that, then that allows the words and that time to go in and reconstruct some things. And that's what God wants to do. It's time to rebuild the house so you can really enjoy life. Do you really think that God will place you on this earth to be miserable your whole life and then go to heaven? Think about it. As always, I'll bring you some truth tea. So if you got any questions, comment down and I'll help you. But as I always say, love y'all. God bless. And it's time to rebuild the house. You ready?